Lovers and Patriots. I'm Ken Williams with the Modern Day Patriot, and on this November 3rd, Election Day 2020, I want to take a quick second and make a short video to remind you to go vote. Hopefully you've listened up to this point and voted early in person, unless you're in the armed forces and you're overseas or deployed and you can't. Then obviously absentee ballots are a good thing. That's part of the reason why they were created in the first place. But if you have not voted, first of all, why haven't you? Second of all, go do it. Today is the last day legally to vote. Now, you'll hear from experts saying that, well, we're going to extend it out a little bit because people can't get to the polls fast enough. There's long lines. You know what? If you're an adult, plan accordingly. If you know there's long lines and they've been talking about long lines, you should have done it by now. If you're not cognitively able to figure that out, you should have figured it out by now. But if you waited to the last second, go vote. If you waited this long, I guess it's either you like waiting in lines or I don't know. Go vote. Now let's remember, to be adults, we're going to act like adults. We are all Americans. We're all brothers and sisters in this country. Whether you lean right, lean left, lean in the middle, I don't care. It is our right and our duty to go vote. And you should do so accordingly. If you're one of those people, well, the voting doesn't matter, it matters. I don't know, it matters. Go vote. Now, with everything that's been going on as far as all this craziness on who's going to win, how they're going to lose, blah, 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 blah. Let's think about this for a second. What does Trump stand for? Ideologically wise. And what does Biden stand for? I don't care about party. I don't care about the Trump train. I don't care about skin color, who's the running mate. That doesn't matter. To me, what matters is here. What do you stand for? Vote according to that. If you are for the rights of the unborn, vote accordingly. If you are for your First and Second Amendment rights, vote accordingly. If you are for progress, if you are for seeing our country flourish, vote accordingly. But if none of those things matter to you, then vote accordingly. It is your right and your duty to vote. This is a pivotal election in all of our lives. One way or another, things are going to change. Now, I've talked about change before, and I won't harp on that. But change is coming no matter what. But it's up to us to vote, to let our voice be heard. So on this election day, November 3rd, 2020, it is time to let your voice be heard. Now, we can go with the experts all we want and say it's probably going to expand out, whatever. We'll let the courts to figure this out. And that's why we have SOP. That's why we have standard operating procedures for things like this. They have plans to handle things like this because the Democrats will fight and cry and moan and complain and point fingers if it comes down to Trump winning, whether it's a handful of votes or a landslide. They are going to say that it was rigged, that they cheated, they did something. There was some sort of collusion, there's some sort of interference. You can take that to the bank. Because they've already said they're going to do that. Biden has hired a ton. I don't know the number exact off my head. I remember reading it in the news that he's hired a ton of lawyers and put them in each of the 50 states so that they can be ready to go to file their petitions to fight the outcome of the election. Now, on the flip side, if Trump loses, and I mean, this is 2020, anything can happen. We need to remember to be gracious about this. Yes, I'm not saying roll over and die, but I'm saying we will not be goaded into being dragged down to the liberals' level. This isn't me virtue signaling. This is not me saying we are the high moral people. No, we're all brothers and sisters. We're all Americans. Whether you subscribe to that idea or not, we are all brothers and sisters here in America. If you don't like that, you have options. You can stay or you can leave. But we are all Americans. Just because I believe something and you don't, doesn't make me the enemy. It means we have different opinions. We have different values, different ideas of what's important in our lives. Doesn't mean that we can't be friends. I have friends on the far right, the far left, and the middle, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to denounce you because you don't believe the same way I do. That's what makes us individuals. So, I think I've gone long enough with this. I just want to remind you, we are adults. Yes, people may act like children sometimes, but when it comes down to it, we are adults. If Trump wins, we will act graciously and accept the win. We won't gloat, we won't hold it over them, over the Democrats. We will act like adults. If we lose, we will act like adults. We will be gracious. It doesn't mean that we don't fight. But we will do it legally. We will do it the right way. We will not go rioting in the streets like these petulant little children that we see all over the news and all over social media. We will do it the correct way, the legal way. So, just to put that in your head, we are adults, we are Americans. Act accordingly and go vote. If you're new to our community, consider subscribing. Click the bell icon for notifications. If you like this kind of content, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.